Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, week 2. My name is Dr. Enjoy, and I'm the owner of Enjoy Life, Living in Full Empowerment. LIFE, right? Life stands for Living in Full Empowerment. And who is this beautiful person next to me? My sister, June.
Hello. Thank you for letting me be your first official guest.
You are my first official guest. We are joining you from Florida because we decided to have a mommy and sister, mommy and two daughters, however you call it, road trip to Florida.
Ladies trip.
Yeah, ladies trip, girls trip. She decided to join me. Thank you. All right. So last week I talked about how July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So I said, let me start these live chats just so we can get comfortable talking about mental health, talking about mental illness, talking about how we can recognize those signs in ourselves and our family members and anybody, because we really have to get comfortable talking about this so that we can break down the stigma of mental illness, especially in the Black community. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
very important.
Last week, I talked about some of the misconceptions about what Black people think about mental health or mental illness. Sometimes we think of it as like a sign of weakness. Mm. Like if you're so sad that you have to seek out help, like that's a sign of weakness. Have you heard that before?
Well, technically, I talked to my husband about this, and I kind of like to be transparent with him because, of course, we spend our every day with each other. He is my companion. So, I say things like, oh, I feel like I'm in a dark corner right now. So I use words like that. I never want to take advantage of the word depression or anything because I don't feel like it's continued. I just think, well, for whatever reason today, I'm in that dark corner. And so, I take this very seriously. And I remember sometimes our dad bringing it up a lot.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to take advantage of, oh, this is why I'm feeling this way. This is what it's feeling. I want to recognize it. I want to, utilize tools and what else looks good for me. I may not be able to sit with a therapist, once a week or get to know a whole human being and kind of rebear all my feelings to them. So I look into other avenues, like I believe yoga and meditation also helps. It just depends on the person and the individual. So I try to recognize that and say it,
really good
out loud. And I appreciate my friends. They come to me too, and they're open and raw and say, hey, I'm feeling like this.
That's really good.
So I think it's a healthy journey.
Yeah.
And as we go through this is just other ways that we can help each other out.
Yeah, you said a lot right there, because the first thing I want to comment on is that you were able to notice like that it's a dark corner and then you weren't sure if it's depression. Because that's the thing. I mean, just because you are sad does not mean you are depressed. And so, just talking about what depression is. Yes, depression is feeling sad, but it's also no longer having an interest in things that you actually used to enjoy. It's also not being able to sleep or sleeping too much, a loss of appetite or eating too much, feeling guilt, feeling like a failure, low self-esteem, suicidal thoughts, feeling like you don't want to live anymore, helplessness, worthlessness. So it's all those things, not just feeling sad. So if you're sitting in a dark corner and it's like a couple hours and it passes, there's a part of that, there's some normalcy to that where you probably wouldn't need to seek mental health or mental health help. But if it's all those other things that I named and it's lasting like a week or so, you have multiple episodes of it throughout the year.
Yeah.
You're not able to get to work or do your work. Your relationships are faltering. Then it's like, wait a minute, I better see somebody.
That's really thick there.
Yeah. And you also mentioned you might not be able to sit down and talk to somebody. Did you mean you may not have to, or it might be a struggle to have to do that?
Actually, I may not have to. I do think that me personally, I have a handle on it. And if it gets so tough, I write it out.
Yeah.
And it's not so much as anger. It's just, I write out my frustration. I just literally write it out. And I normally feel better after that. But, I recognize that I know that not everybody will be able to recognize their tools that they have. I know I have those tools to do. So it's okay to have that. It's okay to write crazy things down if that works for you. It may not work for everybody. Yoga may not work for anybody. And honestly, yoga, you don't have to do all the poses.
I know I don't like yoga.
I see it is. That's what I'm saying. You're on the Peloton, so not trying to get him a plug or anything, but I'm just using it as an example. Just be okay with trying out things.
Exactly. And those tools you talked about, another term is coping skills, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, journaling, writing things down, exercise. I know I need to exercise. I found that exercising at night really helps me. And in the morning, I wake up so refreshed. And like some mornings, I might wake up feeling anxious.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I didn't work out last night.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that might be the case. Also, some things that might be in our diets. So eating healthier, eating more balanced, that can help.
I tell you, I'm like, I need my green juice. I know it.
We were on the road just now. She said, I need to find my clean drink.
She's like, what you want to drink? I was like, can you find I don't want to keep plugging restaurants. So I'm not. I'm just not. That's not what this is about. But anyway.
We're going to get your clean drink on this trip. We're going to do that after this, actually. But anyhow, what other coping skills? So, I mean, coping skills can be a lot. Walking, but that's like exercise. So getting sun, it could be dancing, listening to music, going out to concerts, hanging out with friends. A lot of different things could be your coping skill. Deep breathing techniques that can be helpful. A lot of people say that. Some people say it doesn't work, but if you actually practice it regularly and do it, it can be really helpful.
So, Dr. Minna,
yes.
What happens when people are listening to this and they're like, I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like yoga. What's yoga? What's a green drink? Why am I even listening to these people? What can you tell somebody that's not so, that they've tried all these? What happens now?
Right. Well, there's more things than what we're talking about, but I think that's the key, right? Yeah. So seeking help. If it's something where you feel like there's, not a friend that you could talk to or a sister that you can talk to that, you can get the answers from, that is where help comes in at. And, it can be a therapist that you see who can walk you through these things. So a therapy is basically talk therapy. You're talking to somebody. Yeah. You go there, usually it's once a week for an hour, and it could be supportive therapy where they're just kind of walking you through an issue that you're having, or it can be a particular strategy. Cognitive behavioral therapy helps you wean out how your thoughts are related to your emotions and related to your behaviors and what you do. So it's kind of like those people who have negative thoughts consistently and more so trying to work through some alternative thoughts or more positive thoughts so that you're not relying on that. Anyway, the point of all that is seeing a therapist can help you kind of work through what are some other coping skills that I can do.
Okay.
Yeah. And the way that therapy is different from what I do, I mean, I'm a psychiatrist. I can do therapy too, but psychiatry is where medication can be involved. I'm not just a pill popper. So coming to see me doesn't mean you have to get on a medication.
That's good
but, I definitely thoroughly evaluate the patients first to see what kind of treatment plan, if they're going to just do therapy or if they need to do medication.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what other items are we talking about?
Oh, right. We got into a lot just on that.
I know.
Wow. Okay. Bye. Well, sometimes, Black people might rely on religion. That's a huge thing where you feel like, well, I should pray about it. God will get me through this. I don't need to see a psychiatrist. That's not in the Bible, people might say. And I'm a Christian.
Faith
we both
without works is dead.
Well, there you go. Faith without works is dead.
Yeah,
so in other words, you're saying it is in the Bible.
The
works is
are
the tools that we just talked about. The coping skills.
Correct. I don't mean to, I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm just saying.
Not at all.
I'm just saying it's there.
Yeah.
So it's good to marry them both. Right?
Yeah. The spirituality as well as the mental health professional.
Yeah.
So praying and relying on a higher power is a part of the coping skills. So we talk about meditation, even for people who don't believe in God. Meditating and prayer, same thing.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Mental illness is a personal failure. Have you heard that before? Where you feel like, oh, I failed, so I have to see someone.
I personally believe that it's not really a failure. Okay, this is too transparent. So I may be too lazy to go to a therapist. So what if I think that? And what if I don't want to bare my soul to a complete stranger? And what if me and that complete stranger don't mesh? Then I got to sit through and do it again?
Oh my God. You're saying all things that my patients have told me. It's almost just, like I gave her cues to say this.
No, because I feel that. Yeah. I just literally just tell you the truth of what I go through. And that's why I like the alternative measures, right? Yeah. That's why I try to on purpose see what else is out there.
That's the key. And that's how I like to present this, you know, the enjoying life, choosing joy, right? And I described that, you know, choosing joy can look different for people. So for you, choosing joy is doing that journaling, is getting that green drink. To a certain point, when your coping skills by yourself just don't work anymore, when that dark corner or that dark hour turns into, it's a dark day, it's a dark week, it's a dark year, then it's like what I'm doing on my own isn't working. My choosing joy isn't that automatic thing where I become joyful in a couple hours anymore. So choosing joy may change into, I need to finally go see somebody. Maybe this will work. And I like to describe finding a therapist like a dating situation.
Ooh,
I think
we've. Do you have an app like that?
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be nice? Not a therapist app, but you know, a lot of women do a lot of dating. A lot of men do a lot of dating where you're looking for that spouse, right? You're looking for that partner.
There's your sponsorship there,
right? Therapists are humans. So you have to kind of shop around, but you said that it's hard, and that's the thing. The journey is hard.
There's the works.
But that's the works. Faith without works is dead.
Yeah. So
joy without works is dead, right? So it is a journey that we have to enter if we really want that joy, if we really want, you know, to empower ourselves.
What about, and no one's never going to say this out loud. People they just observe it, right?
Yeah.
What about the people who actually just like being in their funk? Is that too deep?
That's a therapeutic concept, learned helplessness, where we just kind of learn to stay that way.
Yeah.
We don't get that help. We're used to it. Depression is comfortable.
Yeah.
Depression is where I like to be. So, and that's where, you know, I will hope there's a family member that can recognize that in a person to kind of help them. And that's what we're talking about too, is how to get our family members in.
Yeah.
Because you have to ask yourself, well, why do I like it? Is it something better? Am I capable of being happy? Do I not deserve to be happy?
Do you not deserve it?
Why do I feel that way?
Ugh.
Yeah. And that's why I'm hoping that, you know, we can get an audience out there for this. It's not about me or my fame, but, you know, like, subscribe, follow, share, do all those things so that people can hear this. Those people who are out there that are saying like, well, I don't need therapy, or, you know, I don't want to do it. It's not, well, you use the word lazy. I'm too lazy to find therapy. And it's the same vital as we need to eat, and you make time in your day to eat, you make time to sleep, hopefully. You brush your teeth. You brush your teeth every day?
Twice a day.
My
dentist yells at me. So yeah, I gotta do that. That's off topic.
So it's the same thing. And people who have physical issues, if they have high blood pressure, they take their high blood pressure medicine. They make sure they go to those appointments.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's the same thing where our mental health and wellness is just as important. Wow. Great questions. You would have thought I prepped her.
No, it's like I don't do well with prepping.
I don't either. I like the organic. Let's talk. That's why I'm like, it's good to have a person on here. When I'm by myself,
I wrote stuff down and didn't even say it. I didn't look at my phone. I was like, actually, if you really want me to tell you the truth,
just say
lie. Well, I don't mean to do the bunny.
Hey, we got 6 people watching Toto. 2 on YouTube, real? 4 on Facebook. One of them is your husband.
Oh, yay. He needs to be next.
Right. So, I mean, we basically, I don't know if we really address fears that much, because the stigma behind mental illness is like that fear that maybe you'll be judged, the fear of being vulnerable in some
the fear that it's not going to work.
The fear that it's not going to work.
Is it okay to do therapy constantly for years on end? Because the way I would see it, me and my husband have done therapy for a situation that, well, we were going to adopt. So that after it didn't work out, we did therapy. And we went through the steps, we went through the events and everything. And it was almost like, and she was very good. After the sessions, I remember having this vivid dream about it. And I felt like I was healed. So I didn't go anywhere. Or, I'm sorry, I didn't go anymore. We didn't go anymore. So situations like, I guess because everybody's different.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, is it okay to just keep going? Like you say, brush your teeth every day. So we're going to keep doing therapy.
Yeah.
And so when I think of tools and everything, like the tools that are given, maybe.
Well, no, yeah. Therapy's different for everyone.
Yeah,
there are short-term plans that are there. Like if you do like those specific ones like CBT that I said earlier, but therapy can definitely last forever. I met someone who says, she started therapy because, she's in the thick of it, suicidal and things like that. But now she's doing great and she's vibrant. But she's just like, I go for maintenance therapy.
Okay, yeah.
That's right. And then other people have been in therapy for 20 years. Okay. And they just look forward to talking about themselves. That's what some people say.
Actually, yeah, that's pretty.
You get to talk about yourself.
I didn't think about it like that. I didn't.
And you know what? The first therapist I went to, and I enjoyed talking about myself, she told me I talked too much. And then I was cutting her off. Oh, I cut her off after that, and I picked another therapist. So there you go.
The therapist got cut off in her own therapy. What a child. Yeah, I'm about to ask, how are you? Because you're like a sponge. I see you as a sponge.
Yeah.
You got to wring yourself out. What's in that water that gets wrong? I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, as a psychiatrist, I'm still a human. So, I hear a lot. I see a lot. But, part of it is that I'm naturally able to kind of compartmentalize some of the things I hear. Some things seep through and I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
But I have to do all those things too. Like everything we talked about, the coping skills and those tools to be able to cope with it and be able to still be a psychiatrist. But yes, I've had therapy before. Sometimes they recommend it anyway for therapists and psychiatrists. Right, exactly. But yeah, and I enjoyed it and helped. I've had couples therapy. We did 4 sessions. I guess we felt we were healed, but we were doing great.
I think so too. I think you guys are doing
right. So, and I've been on medication for ADHD. So I'm just saying, I'm a psychiatrist. I'm a psychiatrist who also believes in the treatment myself. Yeah. So, have you ever thought of it as a stigma, or like, how does it feel to be a sister of a psychiatrist? Like, did you learn from it, or?
I learned a lot, and I do feel guilty because I feel like I'm getting free therapy from you, but I try to think, well, it's just my sister though. So that's just free sistering.
That's why my husband married me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciate you, and you're like Superwoman to me. So you can do anything. It's like, well,
I am not a Superman. I appreciate that. I'm just trying. I'm just doing what the Lord done told me to do.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we've gone organically up in here.
I mean, hey.
Lack of access, fear of mental illness as being like the unknown, like what to expect. I mean, we kind of talked about what to expect. You go, the therapist going to ask you all these questions about yourself. So is the psychiatrist feels like they're getting up in your business because we ask about everything.
Here's a pivot. It's a baby pivot because in the African American realm, if you will, I do feel like I can't be my full self with someone who isn't the same, doesn't look like me, right?
Yeah. You want someone that understands.
Yeah, the fullness. Like if I'm the only one that looks like me in my department at work, for example. I'm not in that situation now, but I know people that are super close to me that have that. And so they can never be their full self. And so they have to clench and hold it. And then when they get home, it's like a blah, I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I don't think fully someone can't understand it unless they look like me.
You're not the only one to say that. And I've heard Black people like feel bad saying that? Like, oh, I want
that's what I'm like.
I want a black doctor. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's your preference. I've even had, I think it was a white parent of a black child who felt bad about it. Oh, no. It was a white doctor that I supervised.
Okay.
Yes. So he said that the parent wanted someone white. It was different. It was the other way around. Okay. So the parent was white and wanted someone white. And so he felt weird telling me that was their case. And I said, you know what? Black people want black doctors.
Yeah, they do it.
It's okay for white people to want white doctors. That is okay.
That's totally good.
Most of my providers have been black. I mean, in my OB practice, I've had Asian, I've had white, and I actually did as long as they're women, I prefer women. But for therapists, I would prefer a black female. Yeah. That's okay. It's your preference. People in the LGBT community that prefer an LGBT conscious therapist.
That's true.
Right?
That's very important.
Yeah.
So representation matters for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's okay. So, I mean, it is the same way you have the preference in that spouse you're looking for those singles out there.
Well, there you go. Just like the dating app.
We're going to get a therapist app.
Yeah.
Okay, don't say that too loud. People might still learn.
Yeah, I was going to say something about you and Jessica teaming up for the app part. Not just, but
All right. Okay.
Just saying.
So, I mean, we kind of basically gone through all this, like you said. It's like, why are we looking at notes or anything? But, how can we encourage our family members? I think that's the one we really didn't get into. If you wanted to convince a family member to seek help and you've noticed the signs, you know what's going on. They've said they were suicidal or they've been doing things where they're not themselves. They're not getting along with people anymore. They're not able to do their work. Like, how do you get them?
Yeah, and intervention seems so evasive.
Yeah. If you're going to intervene with them one-on-one, that's what you should do. You shouldn't gang up on them with the whole family. Like, I think you need to get help. But maybe ask them questions like, how do you think you've been doing?
Yeah.
I noticed that you've been sleeping in a lot. I noticed you've been missing work. I noticed you've been drinking more. Maybe another way to say, I know you've been drinking more, like straight up, but maybe try to get them to say it. Like, what's been going on lately? I'm here for you.
I mean, what about the family members that do say all that, but then you offer it and they kind of like stonewall you? But then they say, oh, but I really want to get help, but they still aren't ready to listen to you.
Oh, so they are ready to get help but not ready to listen to me as the family member?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're willing to listen to the therapist, because that's another thing. Well, they don't want to listen to it. They don't want to talk to a family member because they don't want you in the business. But the therapist is okay. But what
if we suggest, hey, I know XYZ, maybe you should look into this. It may be better. And then they kind of clinch up, and because it's like they pour their soul out onto you, and you're like, man, I think that they would be more improved. It's almost just like, not that they're dumping on you. That's not what I'm referring to, but how do you get that family member to take that additional step? Like, yes, they have the issue. Yes, they're telling you about it. And yes, your heart bleeds for them. How do you get them into that office or into that contact? Hey, let me look through this with you.
Signing up for them.
And then you have that person say, you know what, actually, I'm probably not going to do it.
Yeah.
They end up saying that.
At the end of the day, you can't force them. It's their life, it's their body.
Yeah.
And you can't work harder than them to get to that point. But hopefully they listen to you. You offer your help. You say, well, this is where you can go. I heard about this. Or you help them, because that's another way. Use your insurance card. Find a provider that's within network. That's a way to find. So that can be daunting trying to do that. So you can offer to go on their insurance website for them if they will let you. Also, what do we say in the religious world as far as trying to win souls over? Be a witness. So if you talk about, I saw that therapist and oh my goodness, I feel so much better. I started that medication and oh my goodness, I feel so much better. So that's another way too, being a witness and engaging in those services too. At the end of the day, you can't force them. Of course, there's the cases where if they're not if they're a danger to themselves or a danger to others, that's a whole nother territory where it's kind of a force. And when they've attempted suicide or they're getting things together and planning to commit suicide, or that's a whole nother thing. And, you know, I'm a physician in Georgia. I see patients in Georgia. So if you're in Georgia, Georgia Crisis Access Line is where you can call. Obviously, you can call 911, but there's the crisis lines there's as well. So if you really need to get someone into somewhere and it's a force, all right, hopefully for the most part, we're talking about trying to encourage them to go. And at the end of the day, don't make them feel forced, because they're already in a spot where it's like they feel like it's hard.
And judged almost.
And judged. Yeah.
Oh, it's been 30 minutes.
Exactly. It's easy to talk about mental health. Look at that. But anyhow, I mean, this is week 2. If there's ever questions, obviously I'm here for the questions whenever that comes. I want to do this weekly. It could be 5 minutes. This one turned into almost 30 minutes. So,
oh, well, there we go.
I'm so glad having you here. You know, I'm going to tell a funny story. She don't know. I was going to prep you. She don't know what I'm about to say. You're the reason I became a doctor, technically.
Oh.
Remember? I wanted to be a doctor ever since I got hit by a car at age 5. But so I got hit by a car at age 5. What did you tell me in my 20s? When we were in our 20s, what did you tell me? Can you remember?
I told you go out in the street.
Is that what you told me?
We had a baby. First off, we were 5 and 8. What do you want from us? So we walk into school, and I don't know.
You got an argument.
Around, you were walking ahead of me. You turned around. You said, "Is it safe for me to go?" I was still mad.
She was mad at me because we had a fight.
I didn't look up, and I was like, "Just go" or something.
So I got hit by a car, and you told me that when we were in our 20s, and I was like, "I'm not mad at you. I can't even. That's so long ago. How can I get mad?" But you know what? That's the reason I want to speak up. Come on, that's so. Well, I got hit. I went and I saw these doctors.
Really?
And I said, I want to be a doctor.
Well, that's my
story. That's my story. Don't go hitting your siblings. Just a disclaimer. Don't try this at home. Don't go making your siblings get hit by a car.
Don't show us the legend. We don't, you know.
But okay, anyhow, so I'm Dr. Enjoy. This is my sister, June. I'm the owner of Enjoy Life Living in Full Empowerment, LLC. You can find me on YouTube and Facebook. Like, subscribe, follow, tag, share. Like I said, it's not about me. It's about getting the message out there, and let's be comfortable having these conversations. Thank you for watching.